Well, after months of rumors and speculation, Poseidon's Fury, the headline attraction of the Lost Continent, seems to be closing for good. This show has already been closed for over a year due to the global pandemic, but some people, like myself, expected the ride to reopen once those restrictions were lifted. Now, with construction walls appearing around the attraction, it really seems like that's not the case. And I have a lot of thoughts. Let's talk about Poseidon's Fury as it was first. This was never one of the most talked about rides in the park, but it does have a small fan base of people who I'm sure are sad to see this attraction go with no fanfare. I wouldn't say I was a huge fan of the ride, but I remember thinking it was cool when I was younger. It was never something I had to do on every trip to Universal, but certainly a good supporting attraction for the heavy hitters in the park. I think it makes sense for it to go along with the whole of the Lost Continent, but a part of me is a bit bummed considering it closed with no warning. Wicked Twister, which Cedar Point announced was closing earlier this month, was given an exact date for closure so people could get one final ride on it if they wished. And although it's a bit of a different situation for Poseidon's Fury, it is still a bit of a bummer. The Lost Continent is one of the best themed areas ever made, and I'll admit it's sad to see at least a part of it go. However, apart from that, I'm just a little confused by this decision. Islands of Adventure has gotten 2 world-class roller coasters within the past 3 years, and Universal Studios hasn't gotten any big new rides since Fast and Furious in 2018, and I think we all know how that went. So I was honestly expecting Universal to close the Fear Factor Live stage and make a new Harry Potter attraction or themed area well before they did anything new to Islands of Adventure. Or, at worst, just ignore the other 2 parks and focus entirely on finishing Epic Universe. Unfortunately, it seems like Universal Studios may need to wait another few years until they get something new. Hopefully, it'll be a bit better than Fast and Furious was. Speaking of new, what is the new attraction that's going to replace Poseidon's Fury? The most prominent rumor right now seems to be a Legend of Zelda attraction. The reasoning is that they wouldn't have to change too much of the Lost Continent as is, and it would probably take some mild exterior retheming to fit in. As for what's going to go on the inside, I honestly don't know. It could be an indoor coaster, a dark ride, even a show. Honestly, I have no idea what they would do to make it Zelda attraction, which is pretty exciting. Hopefully, if that's what they're doing, they'll be able to surprise us with something awesome. The second option seems to be Lord of the Rings, for about the same reasons as Zelda. Now, Lord of the Rings is probably the franchise I most want to get an area in a theme park, so in theory this should be pretty exciting for me. However, I think Lord of the Rings would need a bit more justice than just a retheme of an existing ride. There's so much potential for Lord of the Rings attractions. However, with the new prequel show coming up, I'll admit it makes sense. Either way, I'm cautiously optimistic and excited to see what Universal will be cooking up next. Well, that's about it for this short update video. What do you expect to come out of Islands of Adventure in 2022? Remember, this is mostly speculation as of right now, and none of this will likely be confirmed until next year, so don't get your hopes too high. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe if you did. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.